You're not broke because you don't work hard enough. And you're not broke because the system is rigged against you. Most people stay broke for a quieter reason. Every day, without realizing it, they trade a little bit of their future for a little bit of comfort in the present. Nothing dramatic, nothing reckless, just small choices that feel harmless in the moment, but slowly decide how stuck life feels later. And the worst part is this: it doesn't feel like a mistake while you're making it. There's a simple rule behind this pattern. Most people never see it, even though it shapes their money every day. I call it the comfort rule. Ignore this rule, and no matter how much you earn, money always feels tight, stressful, and temporary. Understand it, and something shifts. Your decisions feel calmer, your finances feel more predictable, and life stops feeling like one small problem away from panic. This isn't about discipline or hustle, it's about awareness. It usually doesn't happen in big dramatic moments. It happens in quiet ones. It's late at night, you're tired, your day felt long, heavy, unfinished. Your brain isn't looking for solutions, it's looking for relief. So you tell yourself, I deserve this. You open an app, you order food instead of cooking, you keep scrolling instead of sleeping. You buy the small thing that makes the day feel easier. Not because you're irresponsible, because you're exhausted. The next morning, nothing feels wrong. The purchase didn't hurt, the number in your account barely changed, so your brain learns something subtle. This worked. Then it happens again, after a stressful meeting, after a long commute, after a boring evening you don't know what to do with. Comfort becomes the default response to friction. On the weekend, it shows up differently. You upgrade the plan because it's just a little more. You take the shortcut because it saves time. You spend because it feels like progress, even when it's not. Individually, these moments feel harmless, responsible even. But zoom out a little. By the end of the month, money feels tighter than expected. You're not sure where it went. You didn't waste it. You didn't splurge. You just smoothed every rough edge of the day with spending. And slowly, without any single bad decision, your life starts to feel expensive to maintain and hard to change. The comfort rule is simple. The more you use money to escape discomfort, the more discomfort you create for your future. It doesn't feel dangerous because it's gradual. It hides inside convenience, upgrades, and small treats. You're not choosing to fail. You're choosing to feel better now. And the problem isn't comfort itself. The problem is letting comfort decide for you, automatically, repeatedly, without reflection. That's when spending stops being a choice and starts becoming a habit. You can see the comfort rule everywhere once you know what to look for. It shows up in food first. Ordering instead of cooking because you're tired. Buying snacks because you're stressed. Paying extra so you don't have to think. Then it moves to transportation. Taking rides instead of walking. Choosing convenience over time, every time. Not because walking is impossible, but because effort feels annoying. It shows up digitally. Subscriptions you forgot to cancel. Apps you barely use. Small monthly charges that feel invisible until they aren't. Each one feels insignificant. $10 here, $15 there. Nothing worth worrying about. But the comfort rule doesn't work daily. It works accumulatively. A day of comfort spending becomes a week. A week becomes a month. A month becomes a lifestyle. And now your baseline cost of living is higher than you expected. You didn't raise it intentionally. You didn't plan it. It just happened. Comfort spending also changes how you make decisions. When money leaks slowly, you stop noticing it. You stop checking. You stop asking whether something is worth it. You say yes faster. You delay decisions less. You trade thinking for ease. Over time, this creates a strange contradiction. You work hard, you earn money, but progress feels slow. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because comfort quietly intercepts every opportunity to build momentum. The comfort rule doesn't empty your bank account overnight. It fills your life with small expenses that leave no room to breathe. And when breathing room disappears, change becomes difficult. Here's the shift most people never make. Comfort isn't the enemy. Stress is. And your brain is wired to escape stress as efficiently as possible. When you're tired, hungry, overwhelmed, or emotionally drained, your brain looks for the fastest path to relief. Not the smartest one, not the cheapest one, the fastest one. That's why the comfort rule gets stronger when life feels harder. After a long day, self-control is lower. Decision-making is weaker. Patience is thinner. So the brain chooses whatever removes friction immediately. This isn't a character flaw, it's biology. Your brain releases dopamine not when you solve the problem, but when you feel relief. Order food, relief. Buy convenience, relief. Avoid effort, relief. And every time relief is rewarded, the loop tightens. The brain learns stress equals spending. Eventually, this happens without conscious thought. You don't decide, you react. Spending becomes a reflex, not a choice. That's why people are often confused by their own behavior. They don't feel reckless. They don't feel irresponsible. They just feel tired. And tired brains don't plan for the future. They optimize for the present. This is why making more money doesn't automatically fix the problem. If stress stays the same, comfort spending scales with income. More money simply means more expensive ways to escape discomfort. Until the loop is broken, nothing really changes. The real damage of the comfort rule isn't what you spend, it's what you lose. Because comfort spending doesn't just remove money, it removes options. When your money quietly disappears into convenience, your future becomes narrower. You have fewer choices, less flexibility, less room to respond when something changes. A small problem feels bigger than it should. An opportunity feels riskier than it needs to be. And this creates a constant background pressure. You start living in reaction mode, not planning, not choosing, just managing whatever shows up next. Over time, this affects how you see the world. You stop thinking in months and years. You think in days and paychecks. Your focus shrinks. Even good opportunities start to feel dangerous. A course that could help your career feels too expensive. A move that could improve your life feels too risky. Time off to think feels irresponsible. Not because these things are bad ideas, but because you don't have room to absorb uncertainty. The comfort rule slowly trains you to avoid uncertainty at all costs, and avoiding uncertainty feels safe until life changes anyway, because life always does. When something unexpected happens, the stress hits harder than it should, not because the event is catastrophic, but because there's no buffer. That stress spills into everything else. You sleep worse, you feel more impatient, you rush decisions you should sit with. The invisible cost compounds. Less clarity, less confidence, less control. And the longer this continues, the harder it becomes to imagine a different way of living. Not because change is impossible, but because the space to change has quietly disappeared. The solution isn't cutting comfort out of your life. That approach never lasts. The real solution is slowing the response. Instead of removing comfort, you remove automatic comfort. You create a small pause between stress and spending. That pause is powerful, because in that moment, your brain has a choice again. The goal is simple. Choose one small discomfort on purpose every day. Not to suffer, not to punish yourself, but to retrain how your brain responds to friction. That discomfort can be tiny: cooking once instead of ordering, walking when you could ride, waiting before buying something emotional. At first, this feels irritating, uncomfortable, unnecessary. That's a good sign. It means you're interrupting the reflex. Over time, something changes. You stop needing spending to regulate your emotions. You start tolerating friction again. And when friction no longer controls you, your money stops leaking by default. This is where the real shift happens. The goal was never just to save a little money. Money is only the signal. The real change is who you become when comfort stops running your life. There are two versions of the same person. One version avoids friction whenever possible. They optimize for ease. They smooth every rough edge of the day. Life feels comfortable in the moment, but fragile underneath. The other version doesn't chase discomfort, but they don't fear it either. They can sit with boredom. They can delay relief. They can let a problem exist without immediately trying to escape it. That version thinks more clearly. They don't panic when something goes wrong because they're used to not reacting instantly. They don't rush decisions because urgency no longer controls them. Over time, this identity compounds. The person who tolerates discomfort starts building buffers of money, buffers of time, buffers of energy, and those buffers change everything. They negotiate differently. They choose opportunities instead of clinging to security. They can say no without fear. From the outside, it looks like discipline. From the inside, it feels like calm. This is why two people with the same income can end up living completely different lives. One is constantly managing stress. The other is designing their future. Not because they're smarter, not because they're luckier, but because one learned to stop using comfort as the solution to every problem. Think of it like this. Your brain is a kid in a candy store. Comfort is the candy. At first, candy feels harmless. It keeps the kid quiet. It makes the moment easier. So every time the kid gets bored, stressed, or frustrated, you give candy. The kid learns a rule. Feeling uncomfortable means candy is coming. Eventually, the kid doesn't calm down. They cry faster, louder, more often. Not because they're bad, but because that's what you train them to do. Your brain works the same way. Every time discomfort appears and spending removes it, the brain expects spending next time. And the more often this happens, the harder it becomes to sit with friction. The solution isn't banning candy forever. That just creates rebellion. The solution is teaching the kid that discomfort doesn't always need a reward. When the kid learns to wait, they don't panic anymore. And when your brain learns to wait, money stops being emotional. Here's a simple challenge to make this real. For the next 7 days, do one thing differently. Every time you feel the urge to spend money for comfort, pause. Not to judge yourself, not to argue with the feeling. Just pause. Then ask one question. Is this buying relief or building freedom? If it's building freedom, go ahead. That's a conscious choice. If it's only relief, wait 24 hours. That waiting period is the challenge. During that time, you'll feel restless, irritated, a little bored. That's normal. It's the reflex losing control. Some urges will disappear on their own. Others will still be there tomorrow, and that's fine. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is awareness. By the end of the week, you'll notice something important. You won't feel deprived. You'll feel calmer because you're no longer reacting automatically. You're choosing, and choice is where freedom starts. Most people don't stay broke because they're bad with money. They stay broke because they're tired, overwhelmed, and comfort is the fastest escape. The comfort rule doesn't ruin lives loudly. It does it quietly, through small choices that feel harmless. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. And when comfort stops making decisions for you, money stops feeling like a constant source of pressure. The real lesson is simple. Don't spend your future to make the present easier to escape.